hey, you know what we're doing, so let's just do it. So we got 5 different tiers. We got the songs that I don't even want to talk about, which is tier bye. We've got the tier flop, which is reserved for the songs that I didn't particularly enjoy. Bop, which is a good song. Slightly above that, we got big, and then we got legendary status. Their debut, Into the New World. The thing with this song is it wasn't really legendary at the time, but it's definitely legendary today because of what the group would go on to become, right? The song is beautiful, they're dancing beautiful, they invented girl group synchronization as like a thing. They're in perfect sync. The styling was horrible, but you know, it was 2007. They were young, fresh, and that's all that mattered. And watching it today, I get all warm and fuzzy. So yeah, this is definitely a legendary song today. So, Girls' Generation. It's not a flop, I'll tell you that. It's not a flop. It's fun. It's you know, I mean they got the iconic like oversized numbered jerseys, but I guess like the dance itself and the song it hasn't really stood out through time. Like I don't find myself listening to it all that often, and when I do listen to it, it's not really because the dance is very fun or memorable. It's mainly because I feel like their vocal talents were very impressive for like a Ruka group at the time. So it's a bop. Kissing You. So listen. The lollipops, they, in hindsight, they were weird. But to me, this is a bop. It's got like soft girl bop vibes. It's kind of like that magical girl anime magical girl anime ending credit song kind of feeling. No, I think this is a really boring song. Like there was nothing memorable. The dance was meh. It's like no, the only memorable part is Taeyeon's high notes, but everything else was just meh. G, baby, baby, baby. Yeah, I mean, you knew. This is the first K-pop song that I ever heard. I heard it in 2010, and I was an instant fan of both K-pop and this group especially. And looking back, I feel like this was such a like fresh and modern sounding K-pop song for the time, right? I feel like it really broke the mold for what K-pop could sound like. It's bubbly yet like not in a cringy way. No, I guess it's kind of cringy, but the dance, iconic, of course. It isn't super dance heavy. I feel like they focused more on dancing in a way that the listeners could emulate, and I feel like that's really what also helped this song skyrocket into popularity because everyone can do the dance. And I think another really interesting thing is even today when you see girl groups covering this song for like a special live performance or something, it never looks right. It never sounds right. It never looks right. They can't beat the original. I mean, this was just too good. Definitely legendary. Genie. I definitely feel like Genie was legendary. The dance was legendary. They invented long, beautiful legs in this comeback. Looking back, I feel like Genie was, in a way, sort of what Fancy is to Twice now. Like, it really helped them break out of this cute mold. And like if you look at Genie now, of course, it's a super cute concept and super cute song, but this was 11 years ago And back then, K-pop was a bit more conservative than it is today. For the time, this was a pretty suggestive song in the way that it's like, yeah, tell me what you want, and they're like jumping on the bed. There's this kind of point of view camera, and they're kind of pulling you in. This was definitely a more mature concept, and this really helped them transform from like a just a young kind of girl into more young adult women. Oh, this was a really good comeback. This is fun, bubbly, they're bright, it's colorful. I feel like it's G but on crack in a way. I'll probably never get over the yeah, really good. And Run Devil Run is right up there with this. I really liked the 180 that they did with their image becoming like this darker version of themselves, which was pretty popular at the time to begin with. Like you got Kara, who did the same thing with Lupin, but I feel like this really helped them kind of take the next step with their careers, showing us some diversity image-wise. This was sexy, it was cool, it was really different for them, and it was also pretty Western sounding. Like I know that Kesha made she sang the guide for this song, and the styling was very Lady Gaga in Poker Face, and Jessica had these black streaks in her hair. Yeah, it was cool. Next up is Hoot. So at the time, retro like concepts were pretty popular, and I was really excited for this comeback, but the song isn't really that good to me. However, their glow up was insane. Like blonde Sunny, orange haired Tiffany, like you got the bob cut Sooyoung, and the bow and arrow dance. It was sexy, but in a very classy way. Yeah, but that's only because they looked so freaking good. The song isn't that great. Next up is The Boys, The Boys, The Boys, The Boys, The Boys, The Boys. So SM knew that Girls' Generation was like one of the biggest groups in Asia at the time, and they wanted that Western dollar. So that's right, yeah, they were looking for you. You didn't answer them back in 2011. The boys had like a powerful, mysterious concept. They looked beautiful. They'd never looked so beautiful before. Sunny had like this pixie wig, which was great. But I do remember like getting bored and feeling kind of disappointed after watching a lot of their lives. I feel like they were tired, and it really showed. The dance was supposed to be super sharp and powerful, and they really didn't nail it. So, and I feel like the song was pretty repetitive as well. So this wasn't really my favorite kind of song. But they looked so good, and I really liked this concept for them. And I feel like a lot of people still remember this concept even today. So to me, it's a bop. Yeah, it's a bop. I'm still kind of upset though that they didn't go with Trick. There's a song called Trick on the same album. I think they should have chosen that one as the title track instead. That's just me. Dancing Queen. Bloop. Okay, so there's the whole story here. Like, so they did a pre-release before the next song that we're going to talk about, which was Dancing Queen. And apparently they were supposed to release it back in 2008, and something happened. They didn't release it, and they instead waited a bit and came back with G instead, which was a great thing for all of us, especially for them and their careers. But so they released it in 2012 instead as like a fun little pre-release. I didn't really like the song, and it was kind of weird seeing them like, wasn't really my thing. I Got a Boy. This was colorful. It had some rapping. It was this kind of hip hop inspired pop that was pretty popular at the time. Like a lot of people were doing it. Just look at Hyuna and Ice Cream. I feel like for this comeback, they got their energy back in a way. So this was way more fun to watch, and the choreography was more fun and more like theatrical in a way. The song was weird, man. Like it was 4 or 5 different songs kind of mixed together, which at the time was pretty unusual. I think we're a bit more used to it nowadays. And I remember people kind of hating this song at first, but then after a few listens, like we all got into it. The music video was crazy. I think they won like an award, a YouTube music video award or something. And yeah, this was just really fun. And I feel like a lot of people remember this comeback as well. I think that I'm gonna put it here. Yes. And to me, this was really the last time that OT9 had a good comeback. This wasn't it. I remember being pretty excited for this comeback because it had been a while since they released any Korean music, but this was a mess. This was a mess. Like, what happened? I remember hearing that their music video got deleted, or like the files got corrupted while they were editing it. So they had to come in and reshoot parts of it, and it really shows. And the dance was just a sloppy mess. They had no stage presence. The styling was horrible. The song wasn't really that good either. The only good thing about it is that it had a dance break, which I really like when they do. But other than that, this was, and it kind of made me sad because I remember thinking like, did they peak? Did they peak already? And also maybe they can't do mature concepts and still keep it interesting, because The Boys was also kind of boring to look at, and this was as well. I feel like maybe they just didn't have it in them to do these kinds of like more mature concepts and still keep my attention. And then they were 8. And they came back with Party. And I think Party is a fun song. It's definitely a bop. Yeah. It was like a fresh summer song. They looked good and happy. They definitely had a lot of stage presence. Like they looked very excited to be back on stage in Korea, promoting like a normal comeback. And the dance was okay. It's not my favorite, but it's a bop. I don't like this song. And that's it. I just don't like the song. I did like everything else. The styling was great. They looked magical. Like they looked so good. The dance was fun. They had great stage presence. I just thought the song really wasn't good, and it made me sad because it made me feel like this legendary group was kind of on their way out, you know? But I can't call it a flop, right? It's a bop. A soft bop. You think. Now, this was bomb. They did a really good job with this one. Especially watching their lives. They were powerful, they were charismatic, they were sexy, they had fun on stage, their stage presence was really there. So I feel like they definitely convinced me that I was wrong before about them not being able to do mature concepts. They did a really good job on this one. It was so refreshing to see this in contrast to Lionheart, which was so pure. This was really good. And Sohyun, our girl, they really showed the pros that they were here. Thank you for this. The Sailing 0805. Bye. Yes, to me, All Night is one of the greatest K-pop songs that's ever been released. This is such a good song. They got the dance break. They look so like just professional on stage. They really know what they're doing. And I mean, yeah, the dance was a bit sloppy, but I mean, come on, it was their 10-year anniversary at this point. They were up there doing stuff after 10 years that your faves aren't even doing year 3 in their careers. I'm sorry. To me, this is legendary, and I needed this. And then we got Holiday, which was their presumably last ever comeback as 10 members. Oh, yeah, because you got Jessica and you got me. And what can I say other than that this song is very Girls' Generation? But seeing that this was their last song, I I can't rank it. It's too painful. I feel like it's too important to rank, you know? So maybe I won't. Huh.